Hey, good morning, everybody. Sarasota Tim, leaving my home base here in South Florida, Boynton Beach, Florida. Beautiful place to be. Definitely going to be a beautiful place to be in a couple of months as it gets colder up in the northern states. This is where everybody will be. Time check, 75 degrees. Last day of summer, 75 degrees, 8:19 a.m. I have to find a FedEx store and return a e-bike battery that has a glitch. Not on the one that I received and built yesterday. Look for that video later today. The original bike. I don't know. Something's going on there. I contacted them. They're like, send it back. I'll give you another one. So that's what I'm going to do. They sent me a return label, and I'm on my way to find a FedEx store. But first, I want to talk to you guys. What lays on my heart is I feel so blessed and so humbled by what's going on in my life right now, and how sweet and nice and fantastic my community is. And I just thought I would share and encourage one more time some ideas and tips for those that might be searching or questioning or forgetting, the simple steps that it takes to actually find happiness. And so I had a comment the other night that said, hey, could you give a video of like your typical day of what you do? And I can just tell you what my day is. It would be like a long video to video all day. But first thing in the morning, as we've talked about before, the very first thing you do when your eyes open is to think on God and to thank Him for what He's done. Now, if you don't have your faculties going yet and you just woke up, get yourself a cup of coffee. That's what I do a lot of times, actually. And then I sit there. I don't turn anything on. There is no music. There's no TV. It's just me and a cup of coffee and my nice chair I've got sitting in there in my camper. And I just start talking under my breath or in my mind to God. And I just can't believe what I have. And I thank Him for my health and where He's taken me. But I thank Him and ask Him for things for just today. He already knows the future. He knows your last day on earth. He knew you when you were in your mother's womb. He knows from the beginning to the end. We all know that. He knows how many hairs you have on your head. But He does say that when you pray, that you don't even have to use a lot of words. He tells you to say the Our Father who art in heaven prayer. So I also say that. But I definitely talk to God first thing, as well as all day. But first thing, I do not, I repeat, I used to get up and turn on that TV and turn on that media and just start filling my head full of negativity and evil, because that's all that comes out of it, and just get me already, I haven't even woke up yet, riled up. And they just know how to push all your buttons, because that's what their goal is to push your button, to divide, and to just give you something to want to sit there and watch, and some dirty laundry and some horrific story and crime and evil and all that. And believe me, it's out there. You don't have to listen to it. Just go driving around like this guy right here about took off my fender, driving, cutting lanes. Don't get me started on drivers. So anyway, that's first thing in the morning. Then, of course, you guys know I like to go to a gym. So, I go in spurts in my life. I'd go to gyms. I'd quit going to gyms. But when I used to drink alcohol, my motivations were a lot less. Since I don't drink, and of course I don't smoke cigarettes or anything, and I don't do any kind of drugs, I have a lot of energy. And, I have to find something else to do, which is why people smoke cigarettes and why people do drugs and drink, is they have this nervous energy and they get used to doing something that gives them an altered state, and then they're like, I feel better, or I'm in my happy place. But when you eschew all that, you have all this this energy that you need to fill. And so I've filled mine with first going to a gym in the morning. If I don't get there first thing in the morning, I get there pretty quickly. If there's something in the morning that prevents me from getting there, I'll go in the afternoon. But sometime during the day, on that time slot, working out. You know, even if you just go and get on the treadmill, even if you just go and one day you don't really hit it hard, but you just go and you mess with a few things, when you walk out of there, your self-esteem is definitely higher because you know you did it. And then, of course, backing up, I make my bed and wash my dishes and clean my house and whatever I make a mess of in the morning, my coffee, cups and all that, before I leave the house. Make sure you don't leave a mess. Backing into the parking spot here at McDonald's, where I can talk to you uninterrupted. I can take my hands off the wheel, take my seatbelt off, and just tell you. And the minute you come in contact with somebody, even if you go to McDonald's like I do, be kind when you make your order, smile at the person, say thank you. From the very first person you meet every day, you never know what kind of day or how they woke up, and how a kind word will change someone's day. At least they can remember, like, hey, that person was courteous, People deal with these customers all the time at McDonald's and different stores and stuff, and people are just, they don't even look at you in the eye. They're waiting in line. They're aggravated. People are way, way, way too much of a hurry. Slow down. Don't worry about what they think. You be kind. You be nice. You look at people in the eye. You make a compliment. And that's from the first person you meet that you come in contact with every day, all day. Everybody you meet is a new opportunity to get on some kind of common ground, a short conversation. That doesn't mean that everybody you talk to every day, you got like, all right, let me talk to this guy for a few minutes, or this gal. No. But if time allows, open the door for people. Look for ways to be a concierge. Look for ways to be a butler, a waitress, a waiter. Look for ways to wash feet. Look for ways to be humble. Look for ways to put yourself lower, to serve others. That's what you need to do. That's how you're exalted. That's how you feel better about yourself. That's how you make them feel wonderful. And it's just a great thing. And that's really all you have to do most of the day to really have a good day. But when you go down, as you start the day with listening to media, and you leave the house and you're down the mouth, or you want to continue to spread that negativity to the first person you come in contact with, hey, did you hear this morning? And you just spread it. I mean, what are you doing? Also, we talked about being minimalist. Now, I define minimalism as just being less, only having what you need. There's no reason to have clutter. There's no reason to have things you don't need. There's no reason to have things you don't use. If you've got a bunch of stuff, that's money. Have you a yard sale, put it on Facebook Market, take a picture with your phone, post it. If you don't know how to do that, get somebody to help you. It's really simple. And then, or take it to Goodwill, or put it out on the road in your garbage can and get rid of it. Quit having, do you ever go around and drive around certain places and you see people with all this junk in their yards, or just junk everywhere? What a horrible eyesight that is. I mean, how difficult is it to load it up? And if it's a bunch of metal, I think you can get money for it. Go to U-Haul, rent a truck, rent a trailer, hook it onto your trailer hitch, load that stuff up and get rid of it. Make it look nice, so when you come home, you're like, look at my place. How can people live like that? I don't know. So clean up your place. Clean out your clutter. Get rid of those clothes that you've got mashed into your closet that you do not wear. Have space where you can just see what you wear and use those. If there's some things that are rear hangers, as I call them, that you wear in the winter, like down here in Florida, it's like 1 week of the year, I have this jacket I pull out in the rear hanger. Keep it, fold it up, put it in a box, put it back there in the rear hanger, whatever you got to do. But all those other things that you just Don't throw away even old holy socks in your drawer, underwears. You know, you women out there, if you've got different types of garments that you don't wear anymore, clean out your drawers, clean out your closets, do all that. And, you know, here's the thing. If you just spent 15 minutes, you know, every day, at the end of the week, if you just kind of made that as a new thing to add to your curriculum every day to, you know, create something new to do, at the end of the week, you could look back and say, look at all these things that I did. Look at all of this progress that I've made in getting rid of all these things. Look how much roomier my garage looks. Look how much nicer my yard looks. Get out there and do a little work. That'll shed a couple of pounds. Edge your, you know, pull them weeds and edge that edge there around the sidewalk. You know, do some stuff like that. Be productive. If you don't go to a gym, this will give you good exercise. So doing things for yourself, talking to God, talking to other people in a very friendly, genuine, humble way, being like a servant, you know, asking your neighbor, giving somebody a call you haven't talked to in a while, to say, hey, just checking in, you know, how you doing? That relative. And these are all things, I'm talking to myself, folks. These are all things, some of these things that I only started doing again, that I was lacking on. Believe me, I'm not this high and mighty person. I put my pants on one leg at a time. But when I find new self-esteem and new joy and new happiness from doing these things that I should have been doing, I just want to share it. And hopefully, and I know a lot of you have been encouraged to do it. I've read it in the comments where you started doing some of these things. So I just want to make the video again and talk about it in case there's new subscribers or people that don't go back in the library of all my videos and just kind of watch those old things. We have to keep repeating things, just like I'm going to repeat collecting Social Security at 62 years old, except for the one reason. So look for everything to be, and that's the way life should be. You need to repeat talking to God. You need to repeat being kind every day. You need to repeat making your bed when your feet hit the floor. All these things need to be repetitious and done every day. It's not a one and done. We do it all the time, you know, working out. And, you know, it's okay to eat some chocolate and, you know, and have a treat, but maybe curb your diet a little bit. Maybe eschew some of the things that you're having a little bit too much of. I know I did that for a while, whether it be alcohol or food or something you're watching on TV too much of, or something you're doing, a habit. You know, try to improve, self-improvement. But yeah, I always want to improve. I always want to, you know, I like constructive criticism. You know, sometimes it stings a little, but hey, a sharp knife cuts the quickest. So these are the ways that I say that I do in my day every day. These are the things that I would encourage you to do. But mostly it really comes from having a relationship with God and a relationship with your fellow man. You know, you get out of life what you put in it. And if you go down, like I'll say it again, if you go around all day and you're all down in the mouth and you're negative and you're rude, but some of the young people, they've been raised incorrectly. You know, an apple doesn't fall far from its tree. And when parenting and this public school system starts teaching people and kids that this isn't correct, and you know, all the holidays and all these things, you know what I'm trying to say. But it's the social media. These kids today that have grown up with not knowing, you know, anything about a phone with a cord on it. And unfortunately, the young people today, they lack these disciplines that needed to be taught. And they have grown up just from the time they could crawl, given a phone and video games with no filter to do whatever they want to do. They're a product of their environment. Their only excuse they have is what they've been allowed to do. They haven't been governed. You and I, that are my age bracket, that shared the same things that I shared growing up, we're a product of how we were raised. And although we still fail and, we've made mistakes, and, we're certainly not perfect. We know right from wrong. And these young people today, a lot of them, they're just oblivious, it seems like, the way I see them acting and driving and doing, and their lack of respect for people. It's sad. So I don't know how I got on that. That's another story. Maybe I'll edit it out. But to be happy in life, get up every day, believe in God, talk to God, ask Him for your needs. He's the only one. Oh yeah, I was going to add this. Someone wrote in the comments that they don't hear me talk about God sometimes, and other people came to my rescue right away and said, oh, he actually does all the time. And I do. And then there was a comment about, oh, well, he talks about God like Joel Osteen, that, talks about getting materialism things. And I'm not a preacher. I don't run a church. Now, when I talk about God, God can provide you anything. God hasn't provided me a mansion and a Ferrari and $1 million in the bank, so it doesn't work. But He has provided the finances that I've needed: reliable cars, a roof over my head, food in my belly, an occupation, employment, a relationship. And if you need a car repair or a new car to replace one, there's nothing wrong with asking God to provide you a new car or a newer car, or money or finances to help you in your plight to live. So, but I can tell you this, in your own personal life, if you've got needs, you pray for whatever you need. And if God's going to give it to you, He will. If He doesn't, He won't. It's just that simple. You can ask your parents for a brand new this or that, and you're going to get what they give you. Like when my dad bought me a car, he brought it home to me and said, that's your car. So if you've got a need, folks, you ask God for whatever. You want $1 million, ask Him. He might only give you 100 because He knows that's all you need. He knows your needs before you even ask Him. But when you do ask God for things, He sees that you're leaning on Him. So when things happen, you don't say, I did it. I made this happen because I this or I that. You must have God, and you must give Him honor and glory for everything. For your cup of coffee, for your car starting this morning, for your next breath. The little things. Yes, thank God for everything. So this has gone on long enough. I drove it home. I drove it home 10 times. I hope you guys liked the video. Make sure you get out there today and crush it.